Hello and welcome everybody. We're thrilled to have you join us for a deep dive into the world of effectiveness and Effie Awards Europe. I'm Charlie Stoney, I'm the CEO of the ACA, and we have the great privilege of hosting and organising Effie Awards Europe, which I refer to as a programme rather than an awards because I like to see it as a year-round effectiveness mindset. So whether you're an agency pro, a brand strategist or a first-time entrant, today's conversation is packed with insights, and I hope it will help you make the most of your Effie journey. So we've brought together three incredible panellists. They're all seasoned Effie jurors and past winners. They're going to share firsthand what it takes to build a standout entry, why having an effectiveness culture is a year-round mindset, and why earning an Effie is more relevant than ever. Before we kick off, let me introduce our great panel, starting with Claire Miller, who is Head of Strategy at Agency Lego Group. And Claire is also on our steering group for Effie Awards Europe this year, so we're delighted. And Neil Davis, who is a long-time colleague of mine, actually, because he is not only the ex-CEO of Effie Worldwide, but he's also the current chair of TBWA in Ireland. So he and I worked together on Effie Awards Ireland when I was running that programme. And Luella Benaziza, who is the strategy director for Dentsu Creative. So you're all very welcome. And thank you so much for joining us today. So let's kick off with the first big questions. And so what is Effie and why does it matter? So little talking point now for us. And I might start with you, Claire, to really give us your personal opinion of why Effie's matters so much.
I think we all come into this and do the jobs that we do because we all want to make amazing, original, exciting work. But I think the real goal is to make work that actually delivers and delivers on its results and its original objective. And I think that's what Effie's really all about. It's about educating the industry on why that matters. It's about educating how to build a culture around effectiveness within your business or your agency or the brands. And then finally, really, it's about recognizing the work that matters and the best work out there in the industry.
And that work that breaks through and delivers, how do you define that breakthrough?
It's really hard to define it today. It's like everything is so fragmented. It's really hard to get attention. I work in a world of kids. It's really hard to get attention, attention. It's so fragmented. But ultimately, what we're trying to get is to reach these people, make them want to talk about it. That's very much what we talk about. But ultimately, that has to deliver on what you set out to do. So it's about driving fame, it's about driving talkability, it's about moving the needle, and it's about delivering ultimately on the results.
And does that work with today's obsession with quick wins? So does it contradict it? Can you work hand in glove with it? What's your view?
Yep, I think it's the long and the short, isn't it? It's a lot about brand building. It's about building brand love, but it can also be about sales conversion. So the two work hand in hand.
So thanks so much, Claire. And Neil, you talked about Effie's being a forum. And from your long experience of being in charge of the brand globally and now as chair of a big creative agency, what do you mean by that?
I think I'd been to many Effie events and judged in many judging rooms before, but when I actually had the privilege of working for Effie Worldwide, it became apparent that what was happening in those rooms was a forum for the industry, clients and agencies talking together about what it is we do for a living and how do we achieve the results that we need to achieve. And I thought that was something really, really quite unique. More importantly, that forum became a learning forum because the judges, the clients and the agencies were actually learning from that process as well. So rather than it just being an award or rather than it just being an awards process, it's a forum. That's certainly the way I look at it.
Yeah, and that collaboration between senior marketeers and senior agency people, is that the essence of getting it right for Effie's or effectiveness?
I think it has to be. I think it has to be seen as an ongoing conversation where the baton is passed on, but you're still aware of what's happening to that baton rather than it's not my baton anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that coming together and just the socialisation of the discussion is the most important part.
Yeah, and people talk about crafting campaigns through creativity. Can you craft in the same way? Can you craft an effectiveness mindset?
Yes,
is it a learned thing?
I think if anybody tells you, here's the formula that's going to get you effectiveness, they're probably lying to you. I think what's more important is just being able to embrace the concept of effectiveness throughout the entire process. And we'll probably go on to talk about that later. But making sure that effectiveness is something that's discussed day to day rather than just when it's Effie season is probably the most important way to address that.
Thank you. And Luella, so we've talked about creativity and innovation as an agency, leading an agency creative. It's obviously really critical. So do you talk about creative effectiveness or do you talk about marketing effectiveness? Where's your sort of leaning?
We talk about effectiveness and we lean more towards creative effectiveness, but especially at the moment because, the Effies are the apex of effectiveness. Effectiveness is what keeps us all here. And I think because we love creativity so much, and that's what we all cherish, and that's why we came into this industry, actually effectiveness is a way of protecting creativity amidst all the change that we are seeing. So we know that for work to be effective, it needs to be bold, punchy, distinct, insert creativity. So I think it is the right time to really be focusing on it. And so creative effectiveness is definitely a focus for us.
Yes, and actually you talked about punchiness, and I know Claire mentioned fame as well. I think these words are coming back into our culture, so that the evolution of creativeness is coming to the fore again because of AI.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's going to be cyclical.
Yeah.
So inevitably, with any technology that we've seen, come into our world over the last few years, you get this kind of swell of everybody doing similar things and, the approaches kind of get tired and worn out. And inevitably then people start to realise at scale again the importance of creativity to break out of that so that we can continue doing things that are, working and making people feel.
Absolutely. And so you work with a lot of creative teams, obviously. Do they feel that if we focus on effectiveness, it restricts their creativity? And I guess I might ask Claire the same question afterwards.
Yeah, I think that is a misconception. I think the idea that being effective leads to being dull is just madness, really. It is the license that you need to, the springboard. So I think that kind of tension is overplayed. And actually, if you think about even great art has to be effective in that it communicates something, it makes you feel something. So why can't we apply the same sentiment to our work?
Yeah, excellent. No, I love that. And Claire, what do you feel about that?
I mean, there's data, isn't there? There's evidence out there that the most awarded creative campaigns are also the most effective campaigns. So there is a correlation there. But it's ultimately about, I go back to this idea of in a highly fragmented landscape, how do you break through and disrupt? And that is all about the work. It's all about the creative bit. So again, as I go, if you set out with very clear objective, have a super smart insight, great work comes out of that. The result should be great, but it's but creativity is the thing that will be seen.
Okay. Great. So thank you, guys. I think that sort of completes our first sort of chapter, I suppose, for want of a better word, on what Effie's means to our great panellists and why creative effectiveness is so paramount, particularly now. What are the cases that you've particularly been drawn to from the Effie Awards Europe winners last year.
And one of them I was judging on, which was Undercover Avatar. I thought it was a really brilliant case. It was a gold and silver Effie winner. It's got a very good insight, but I think the creative innovation of the idea and how they executed it was just so ridiculously smart. I just think it's a great paper.
Cases of suspected child abuse cannot remain silent.
A child is abused or neglected every 36 seconds. Just think about that.
Children are suffering in silence.
A heightened risk.
Abused children are unvoiced. They remain silent. Enfant Bleu, a youth protection association, created an avatar in Fortnite. The first in-game player who's not here to play, but to talk and detect maltreatment using in-game chats. He frees the speech of abused kids to help them. Here, they feel comfortable and can speak up. We had to keep the avatar secret from parents. Children were invited to add Enfant Bleu by people they trust, streamers and influencers.
N'hésitez pas à vous ajouter Enfant Bleu si vous êtes victime ou témoin de violences familiales.
L'Enfant Bleu, c'est un personnage qui est géré par des gens de l'association. 24 heures sur 24, 7 jours sur 7.
Kids, talk to us. Kids picked up the subject. They began to tell each other about the avatar to stay safe.
Entrez le pseudonyme dans les amis, vous allez taper Enfant Bleu, donc en fait c'est une association pour protéger les enfants maltraités.
We revealed our strategy to challenge the authorities. The character went offline, but his mission went viral. The story reached the French government.
Nous allons mettre en place une petite task force avec policiers, gendarmes, les associations et moi-même pour réfléchir à comment nous pouvons être innovants en la matière pour aller toucher les enfants là où ils se trouvent.
The promise to every child to protect their rights and safeguard their future as citizens of the world.
But most importantly, we saved lives.